Hi darlings, thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. I have a journaling process video for you guys. I am going to feature Kelly Bang's creative new set that came out today on Totally New Tuesday over on the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray shop. So she has this cute new set and it's called Love Thy Neighbor, and it has all these cute elements. They're like little houses in the town. So here's the first page of ephemera. Then there's another page you'll see I cut out into it because I'm going to be using some of the pieces. Look how cute these are. There's a sewing machine shop, a flower shop, a barn. I mean, whatever type of neighborhood you have, she has definitely put it in here. So she also has this fun page where it has all these cute girlies that are kind of talking and hanging out with each other from their homes. I cut into that one as well. You'll be seeing that in my project. And then she has pattern paper. So she has this beautiful print. Let me show you. Love, love, love these colors. And then she has this one that's like a little town map, you guys. How stinking cute is that? So yeah, 2 pages of pattern paper, 3 pages of ephemera. I have cut out some of the houses and things and girlies that I'm gonna be using. So let's dig in. Okay, so I'm using my Interleaf Bible to do this page because it's gonna take up a whole page. And I'm pulling out these new gel pens I got. They are by Parku, and this is the brown color. I will be having these featured on my channel on Friday, so stay tuned. I'm gonna go ahead and block out my journaling, my verses, and now I'm going to start working on it. I have to put another Bible under it because once you get to the end of this Bible, there's not a lot of space, so one side is taller than the other, so I put another Bible under there so it kind of can stay sturdy. And I'm also going to use my Bible mat from Illustrated Faith, and I'm going to use this glassine paper bag so I can do a flip up maneuver, and we'll see how that turns out. So I go ahead and cut it down. And I see this fun house washing, and I was like, how perfect is that? So I, of course, am going to use that up. So I'm trying to see how I'm going to use it. And then I kind of find a spot for it. Guys, I don't throw away anything. So this house washi was going to fit perfectly with what I was going to create already. So I was definitely going to take advantage and use that up. So there we go. So back to the other side of the page. So I have this bag. I'm going to cut it down to size. Kind of measuring it out to see how much I'm going to need. I make sure that I grab 2 pieces to glue on top of each other because I want to make sure that I'm going to have some hidden journaling. So I want to make sure that it's not poking through, so you can kind of see it, but it's kind of hidden as well. So I'm going to use this fabric glue, which is going to be perfect for this type of material. I go ahead and glue the top part to the bottom part, and then I am going to kind of put it towards here. I grab my houses that I know I want to go along the bottom, and now you're going to see me fuss a lot. It's a lot of cutting, measuring, making sure that I have exactly what I want. I want them to peek over just a bit. So I didn't want the houses too high, and I will have elements towards the top as well. So because I want them to look like some houses are behind the other or what have you, I'm gonna use some pop dots. So I have this leftover, yes, you heard it, leftover pieces from the pop dots. So I've used all the pop dots on there, but of course the outside part is still there, and that's still foam adhesive. So I'm gonna cut that down and use that because, again, I don't throw anything away. I'm going to pick out a washi so I can go ahead and make this little glassine pocket, faux pocket, flip up and down. So I'm going to use washi to adhere it to my page and fold it over to the back of the page, and then there we go, it flips up and down. Just rearranging how I want my houses, and then now I'm going to glue these down. So I'm gonna glue the ones that are in the back first, because those are the ones that I want to lay flat. And I also want to use different sizes. I picked houses that were different sizes. That way I can layer them so one looks farther away than the other and kind of get that 3D faux effect. And of course, as I told you, I'm going to use the backing of this. Stick it to the pieces I want popped up, the church and that little blue house in this instance, and pop it in between. So now I'm not gluing them over the other houses, but they're popped up, so it kind of gives a depth perception, tricks the eye a bit. So there we go. And now it flips down and I can put my journaling behind there. I eventually add this love thy neighbor. I was kind of figuring it out if I wanted it at the top or the bottom. And I move on to the girls. So these girls I rearrange, kind of finding a place for them, and I want them to look like they're having a conversation and talking to each other, you know, as girls and women do in the neighborhood. And I'm gonna go ahead and work on that. So I remembered that I had some brick stone type stamps in an older set, so I pulled that out. Use your stash, guys. You can use stamps in all the projects, which is what I love about stamps and printables. You can print again. Stamps, you can just get new ink and stamp again. So I'm going to go into this bag, which is where I keep all of my inks, and I'm going to pull out the brown and like a dusty rose mauve. The reason I do that is because I want the stones to be brown, but I don't want them like a stark brown. So I'm going to layer the pink on top of it, and because it's a dusty, darker rose pink, it's actually going to create like a rose brown color effect. So it's not going to be stark brown on the page. So I go ahead and use this again, and you'll just see me stamp this all around with the two different stamps that I have, layering the brown and the pink. I love using the stamps 1 and 2 times to get that second and third generation stamping. It kind of adds a little bit of character to it. And guys, to clean my stamps, I just use inexpensive baby wipes. So don't feel like you have to get something special. You can if you want, but I have found that simple baby wipes do the trick, and they're cheap, and I always have them on hand. Again, now I'm using this bigger color to stamp, and now I'm just gonna see if they're peeking through. So I didn't want the whole page covered in the stamping. I just wanted it to kind of pop behind the girls here and there. So you'll see me kind of arrange the girls, and then I'll go in and add it where I feel like I can use a little bit more of that. Wipe that off with a baby wipe, same baby wipe, and then move on to the girls. So now I can adhere them down. So while you watch me adhere that down, I really want to talk about this verse. So in 1st of Peter, chapter 4, we find in verses 8 that it reads, "Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins." And this is the verse that was included along with the kit. It was on the printable, but I wanted to go even deeper. So of course, I'm going to read everything before and after it. So verse 9 reads, "Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms." And this really reminded me, the printable and these verses, these 3 verses, really reminded me of how it was back in the day in the neighborhood, where women would watch over each other and each other's kids, and they would help each other, and you could go to a neighbor and get a cup of sugar. And not that that doesn't happen nowadays, but it seems like the world is in such strife that sometimes we forget how it was and how it can be. And so I love this printable. I love the notion that we're all in the neighborhood talking to each other, taking care of each other, and serving each other, as these verses say. We are called as Christians to serve each other first and foremost, and to love God and love thy neighbor. And I feel like we've lost that in a sense in some ways, and it's definitely good to go through this and bring it back to our hearts. You know, journal about it, say a prayer. I did my hidden journaling in the back there, just saying a prayer to God to remind all of us that we need to serve and love each other and love our neighbor. And that needs to be, you know, something that we always have in the forefront, instead of, you know, focusing on all the strife. But let's focus on love, and let's focus on serving each other. So I cut out the tab, or punch out the tab with my tab punch, and I'm going to add it to the side of my page because I'm doing side tabs in this Bible. I add a little washi, the same as the washi that I use on the bottom. And I'm just making sure that everything is adhered correctly. And then I'm going to use the leftover of this Pop Dot outline foam, and I'm going to put it on the Love Thy Neighbor towards the middle, because I want it to pop up in that empty space right in between the houses in the church. Okay, so it's done. I did a little flip, as you can see, and I have my houses kind of piled up. I used pop dots to kind of give it that 3D effect. I may add a little bit more pop dot here to really lift it. Yeah, I think that is perfect. So I have my girls chit-chatting, I have my journaling hidden, and I love it. I love the way it came out. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. I hope to have a YouTube video up tomorrow, so stay tuned. I'm gonna link everything below, how you can get this set and journal with us and really dig into love, because guys, love is not canceled yet. And have a great day. God bless. Bye.